Hello everyone, my name is Casey Newsom. Um and this is my pretty much a mini PowerPoint based off the event that I attended earlier today. So I'm just gonna get right into it. So the event I attended was called Outlaw and Policing LGBTQ plus Identities. So policing, that's the word. So let's start off. Um, okay, here we go. So the purpose of the event. So the purpose of this event talks about how the LGBT community is constantly faced with problems of stereotyping and also discrimination. So when listening to this event, um, there were four speakers that spoke. Um, Basically, those four speakers were, of course, they were all part of the LGBT community, and they basically discussed their experience from like way back in the 70s. Some people as far as the 70s, some people as far as the 80s, but they pretty much discussed their experience and what they had to face when it came to law enforcement. And what stuck out to me the most was because they all had something in common. Of course, they are part of the LGBT community. Um and they still continue to support they still continue to fight for the equality and the equality as well as the acceptance of being a part of that community. We know that the LGBTQ community is always struggling day to day. Many people are judged based on their sexual orientation, their sexual or identity. Because some people identify themselves as male and some people identify themselves as female. But at the end of the day, how I felt about the event was that, overall, the lesson I got out of it is the law enforcement should do better as far as protecting all citizens in spite of what their sexual identification is or what their preference is. And then next, oh no, sorry. Next, I say the main idea of the event to me was to give you an understanding on how the law enforcement treat the LGBTQ community. That's a slight spelling error, but basically how I feel personally, like that's the idea that I got. As I said, I felt as though a lot of people in the LGBTQ community are harassed a lot based off their sexual orientation or sexual preference. And, it's still nowadays in this day and age, it is more accepted, but long ago, there were consequences behind that. But now things have changed. I feel as though, due to the fact that now this is pretty much a normal thing, we as people should learn how to accept that. And we shouldn't judge anyone based off their sexual identity or their sexual preference, because at the end of the day, we're all human, regardless of what we like, who we like. That's just how I see it. And the conclusion that I came up with is everyone should be treated equally. That's a big thing. Equality has always been something that I've been fond of. It's something that should stick. I know that we're always going to go through we're always going to have that period of oppression. There's always going to be someone that goes through oppression because they are a part of this community. And like, there are many people, like, believe it or not, a lot of people in this community are pretty much suffering from oppression due to the fact that nobody will accept them. There are many people who are disowned by their family behind this. And, as law enforcement, we need to make them matter. All lives matter, as they say, especially the lives of the LGBTQ community. And I put everyone should feel protected, because it doesn't matter if a person identifies himself as a male, a female, transgender, however, gay, lesbian, it does not matter. At the end of the day, everyone should feel protected in their own homes, their own state, their country. Everyone should feel safe. But because some people are different, they're not always treated correctly. And the last thing I put is we are all human in spite of our sexual identification. So despite the fact that a person may identify themselves as gay or lesbian or trans or no matter what, we're still human regardless of the matter. And we have to learn, we grow in a world. We live in a world where that is pretty much normal. A lot of people aren't fond of it, especially the law enforcement. I never knew. This event kind of taught me something new because I knew that the LGBTQ community did face oppression from the law enforcement. However, I didn't think that it was this bad. But we have to really do better. I feel that the law enforcement should do better with protecting people of that community because they feel as though sometimes people who are a part of the LGBTQ community are they pose them as a threat from time to time. And I don't understand why that is, but it's really sad. But I feel as though no matter what, everyone should be treated the same. I never knew that this was an issue. I know now we have the Black Lives Matter issue. We have everything else. But we should focus on all the main issues, especially issues surrounding the LGBTQ community. Now, I'm not a part of this community personally, but I do have colleagues and friends who are a part of this community, and I support it due to the fact that I am friends with these people. And I love them the same. I don't care what their identification is. I just accept them for who they are. And that's the thing. People want to be accepted. You're in this world to be accepted, not liked. So, getting from this event, the law enforcement should do better with protecting this particular community. Everyone wants to feel protected. Everyone wants to feel like someone cares. And when you disregard a person because of their sexual identification, they feel like you don't care about them. They feel unprotected. They feel isolated. And you want to make people feel open. You want to make them feel comfortable, and you want to make them feel loved and accepted. That's pretty much what I got out of the event. It's upsetting to know that this is a current issue in the world. I didn't know how serious it was until, I started actually looking at videos on YouTube about the issues with law enforcement and the LGBTQ community. I did further research on it after the event because, I just wanted to really understand, like what's going on and, what's the big issue. And even though the event did explain a lot, I did want to further my research as far as they say that the LGBTQ community is being over policed, which is really, really, I mean, it's just sad. I feel like we could do better. We could do so much better. But yes, this is pretty much what I got from this event. It kind of made me, feel some type of way. It made me feel bad for the people. It makes you feel a sense of empathy for the people that are a part of this community, just to know that what they go through on a day-to-day basis, and just to know that because they have a certain sexual preference or identification, they are being, judged by it. They're feeling a sense of, they're feeling lost, feel like nobody cares, and then they're being stereotyped because of it. But overall, I really did enjoy this event. It was something interesting to me to understand that this particular community goes through that. I wish things could be better. All we can do is pray that things get better for our world in general. This concludes my video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great evening.